Hey, Saints fans, we're about to jump into a trade mailbag where you guys submitted your trade ideas, so stay tuned for that. We're also going to do another mailbag very soon. This will just be more of a standard one. Get your questions in by using hashtag Saints down in the comments and ask away. Now, you do have to be subscribed for us to pick your questions, so subscribe, use hashtag Saints, get those questions loaded up, and we'll answer them on a future show. Welcome into Saints Now. Harrison Graham here from Chat Sports, and it's time for a trade mailbag. Producer Trace took all of your trade ideas, picked some of the best ones, and we're going to break them down for you here on today's show. So let's get things started. Kendrick Sandifer sent in this one. Josh Jacobs to the Saints for a third-round pick in Tre'Quan Smith, the wide receiver. On the surface, I don't hate this one. Now, a third might feel a little rich, especially since you're adding a number 3, number 4 type of receiver for Josh Jacobs, who is entering the last year of his rookie contract. But it's obviously been a talking point that Alvin Kamara could miss some time with a suspension. And Jacobs is certainly a good back. Had 9 touchdowns last year, 4 yards per carry there, almost 900 yards. He's certainly better than Mark Ingram. Now, he's not better than Alvin Kamara, and when Kamara's back, he's going to be the primary back. Now, they would both get touches. Josh Jacobs would get some carries, but does it make sense to trade a third-round pick for a guy who's not going to be a primary starter at the running back position, and he only has this year left on his contract? I don't know. I think it's a fair question. If it was a 4th or a 5th plus Smith, I'd be more intrigued. But I do think it's a decent idea to bring in a guy at the running back position to help give you some insurance for Alvin Kamara and just to give you that second look at running back. When the Saints have been at their best with Kamara, it's when they've had that thunder and lightning. They tried to recreate that with Ingram last year, but he's just not really what he used to be. So we'll see what happens there. Obviously, if Kamara gets suspended, the Saints will have to figure something out, whether it's just rolling with what they got or go out and trade or sign a free agent running back or something else. So we'll see once that day comes. Hopefully the NFL makes a decision soonish before the season so that gives New Orleans plenty of time to make a decision. Would you do this trade that Kendrick Sandifer sent in? Jacobs for a third and Smith. Type T for trade, type P for pass. Let us know in the comments, would you make this trade? Next up, Crawgator Goodies trade idea. Myles Gaskin in a third to New Orleans for Cesar Ruiz and Tre'Quan Smith. I know there's been a lot of buzz, obviously, around Smith, but also Ruiz as well. And, with Tre'Quan, who we've mentioned in a couple of these trades now, he just hasn't been able to take that next step. He's a decent rotation guy. He'll give you between 400 and 500 yards probably. Had 377 last year and 3 touchdowns. He's a decent number 4 type of receiver. Myles Gaskin is a guy I've actually liked a decent amount. Now, last year he didn't run as well for Miami, but the year before he was pretty darn good. I think this is more of the ilk of a running back you would want to trade for insurance because it's not going to cost you as much, but it's a guy who can come in and play. And I think Myles Gaskin could be on the way out of Miami. And if they're going to send you a third as well in this trade package, I actually think I like this one better, even though Jacobs is obviously a better back than Gaskin. Trading Tre'Quan Smith is obviously a popular idea, something I know a lot of you guys, Who Dat Nation, would be a fan of, just because you've got the luxury. If you can get something for him, he's expendable because you've got your top 3 guys, and Michael Thomas, Chris Olave, and Jarvis Landry manning the slot. Marquez Callaway can be that number 4 type of receiver for you. You don't need Tre'Quan Smith for that. So if he can be a part of a package to bring in a number 2 type of running back, I think that's something that I would be intrigued with if I was New Orleans. What do you guys think? Should the Saints trade Tre'Quan Smith? Is the experiment over? Type Y for yes, type in for no. Cast your votes in down in the comments section. Is it time to trade Tre'Quan Smith? Next up is Mark Carroll's trade idea. Appreciate you guys for submitting your trade packages. Jimmy Garoppolo to the Saints for Jameis, Winston, and Cesar Ruiz. This is a fun one to talk about. It's not realistic for a multitude of reasons. Number one, the Saints are not absorbing Jimmy Garoppolo's contract. It just doesn't make sense at, $25 million or whatever it is. We actually have the numbers here in a second. And also, as you see the contract numbers, we're good. Also, it's because Jimmy Garoppolo might be an upgrade from Jameis Winston. In fact, I would say he is, but not for the money. And you already have signed Andy Dalton as well. You've got Jameis. It just doesn't make sense to do a Jameis for Jimmy G swap financially. It just, I don't think that really changes anything if you're New Orleans. Now, again, I think he's a better player, but unless Jimmy Garoppolo is going to take some huge financial pay cut, I'm not bringing on that contract. Producer Trace is a big believer in Jameis Winston. He thinks this team is built for him. And, he's a big J-Boat guy, like we call him here at Saints Now. Trace was salivating at the OTA clips that they were tweeting out of Jameis Winston driving off that torn ACL. He's back, baby. He's all in on Jameis. So, and look, I wouldn't trade for Jimmy G's contract, so I certainly understand that side of it. Now, what Winston has done in New Orleans that he hasn't done in Tampa, he's fit in culture-wise. I don't think he was a fit in Tampa. And I just don't think trading him right now makes sense. You roll with what you got. You see what happens in 22. If he doesn't take that next step, and he does need to take a step, then maybe you draft a quarterback next year. Maybe you trade for someone next year. You figure something out. But I think it's pretty clear that Jameis Winston is going to be this team's quarterback in 2022. Pick one. Who would you rather have under center? Type J-Dub for Jameis Winston. Type JG for Jimmy Garoppolo. Who would you rather have slinging the rock for New Orleans? Let us know in the comments. Last trade idea here, which is a divisional trade. This one comes from that guy, pal. Deion Jones to the Saints for a second-round pick and Cesar Ruiz. Well, number one, I'm not trading a second for Deion Jones right now. When you sent this in, you probably weren't aware of this, but came down in the news cycle that Deion Jones actually going to have shoulder surgery. As Arthur Smith announced earlier today, he was out for the offseason. We found out later on that it's a shoulder issue. He's going to have surgery. He's also making a ton of money. There's some buzz out of Atlanta that he could be cut. I don't know if the injury aspect plays into that now. On the surface, though, just talking purely about the player, I'm certainly intrigued. You've got a fairly deep linebacker core here, but Deion Jones is a good player, obviously. I think he'd be a nice addition, but I'd rather sign him if he became available than trade for him. Now, like Tre'Quan Smith, what you guys think is that Cesar Ruiz needs to go. A lot of trade ideas to get him out of town. And look, he's been a disappointment coming out of Michigan. There's no doubt about that. We'll see if he's got any trade value. Obviously, if you can move him for a piece that can help you win now, that would certainly help. His PFF grade last year wasn't very good either, and you watch him, the eye test tells you, he's not that good. That's kind of what it comes down to. Deion Jones is good. He's also hurt right now, so it's hard to tell if that would impact a potential trade, if he's going to get cut. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out, but did have 137 tackles last year, and we'll see where he ends up. If he stays in Atlanta, if he moves somewhere else, if he gets traded to a different team in a different division. But Deion Jones is certainly a quality player and would be a good player here in New Orleans. But how badly do you guys want to trade Cesar Ruiz away? Because a lot of you guys are just, Trace tells me all the time, Who Dat Nation, they want to get rid of him. They're trying to get rid of this guy. So I want to know, 100 man, you got to get rid of him. You can't stand him. Get him out of here. And he doesn't even get some crawfish on the way out. Just ship him out. One being, let's give him another year. I still believe in him. I want to know, how badly do you guys want to trade away Cesar Ruiz?